He admits to being an avid fan of Kiss. He admits to being reduced to tears by television advertising, and somehow, considering such influences, he manages to write some of the most beautifully lyrical rock songs you're ever likely to hear. And now he's taken to the boards as a loin-grinding scene stealer and taken to it like a rash to gravel.
Balancing music, theatre and fatherhood, UMI frontman Tim Rogers joins us on the 9am couch this morning. Fresh, I'm told, from the school drop-off. Good morning.
Morning, Tim.
I'm blushing. What an introduction. I'm thoroughly charmed.
And all deserved.
This is we're talking about you're in the Malthouse production, Malthouse Theatre production in Melbourne of Woyzeck.
Woyzeck, yeah.
Woyzeck, sorry. What was your initial reaction when you read the play?
It's bemusing. It's quite brutal. And wondering where I sort of fit into it and why I was asked, but I chose not to question that too much, and just looked at it as a job that was being offered. But the play's intriguing because it's lots left in the ether. I mean, the murder and the adultery and the cuckoldry and all that's there, and that's very obvious. But as to where it all fits in and to what style you can stage it, it's really up to the director and the production company. And
in 1836, when it was written by George Buchner,
yes,
you weren't even in it.
No, I wasn't.
There wasn't your part, is what
despite
I mean.
my averitic appearance. Yes. No, I'm only 39, but no, Buchner was he was a very interesting chap. He was a doctor and died at 23, but he wrote it because. I gather because his father was a lawyer, and it was a true case of Franz Josef Woyzeck, who did murder his common law wife, and it was the first time that criminal insanity had been used as a defence or to lessen the sentence. So it's been looked at as being the first modernist play, and it's intriguing, as you can tell, because I can't explain it.
Well, how do you then, when you do have trouble explaining it, how then do you imagine yourself in that role? And how then do you explain that to your daughter?
Well, my role is...
was it written for you?
No, it wasn't. No, the Icelandic version, which was done about 3 years ago, did have this character, the entertainer. Mine's just been embellished. Because of the weight of my personality, I'm not exactly sure, but he's a bit of he facilitates a lot of what goes on, so he's pretty nasty. And the way I explain it to Ruby is that I'm not the kids in the car this morning at the carpooling, which we were talking about, they asked me, "Oh, what do you do in the play?" And I said, "Well, I'm not a very nice chap." To which Ruby said, "No, he is. He's not. He's a good guy." So I thought we'd just leave it at that. But I am on the poster, you know, holding a gun to someone's head.
Well, you must be. I was saying to you in the break, you must be totally the coolest dad in school.
Absolutely not. No, when I did a spot of gardening before I mysteriously threw my back out while trying to uproot a tree. That was the coolest I'd felt. I had to give a lesson in urinating properly, and I think that if you're holding a hoe around, you can...
What, on a lemon tree?
No. See, I'm a very big fan of lemons. I think that they're the only reason I'm still walking around. So, you know, weeing and lemons, I'd try not to put the two together. But no, holding a hoe around was infinitely cooler than turning up, you know, looking ridiculous like some kind of... I don't know.
Bona fide rock star.
Shoplifting cowboy or something.
Well, how's the process been for you? There's great physicality. There's a very poignant, sort of radical physicality that you bring to it. It's almost a Keith Richards style of physicality. Is there a difference between the physicality that you bring to a stage production like this and the physicality that might occur to you with the band?
Well, when I took it on, I thought, well, I've just got to be a lot more disciplined because you're working as part of an ensemble, and I knew that some of the actors that I was working with, and that gave me a fear essentially, and I thought that I've really got to just be respectful of that you're given a part, and to not just be this caterwauling. You know, on a large ferret. Tornado that we are when play rock and roll music. So, and I enjoyed that. The discipline of it I really enjoyed, because it's when you've spent 20 years having no discipline apart from be on stage vaguely here, be vaguely together, play these songs vaguely, it's all vagaries, and that this is very exact. You've got a script and you've got places you need to be, or else stunts aren't going to work.
We're talking about Malthouse. I mean, it's a very serious theatre. It's a very serious theatre piece. What do avowed thespians think when they've got a pop star in their midst?
Well, that's a very interesting question, David, and I'll answer it thus, that I don't think I'm not a pop star in anyone's stretch of the imagination. I'm a working musician, but I think more than that, I'm an entertainer. And when I told my dad last year that I was going off to become I needed a house cleaning job, and I found one, I thought, well, I'm just going to do this for the rest of my life. And he said, well, Tim, you're actually a performer, and which came as a bit of a strike, because I thought it was just I'd been doing this until a proper job came along. And I had to think, well, look, it's what I do. I mean, although I'm not schooled in any particular avenue of the arts or in performance, that I have the ability to not edit myself and to put myself in physically dangerous situations.
You just nailed it. You don't edit yourself, that's right.
I think it is, and where that comes from, probably some kind of insecurity, but I just choose not to. And I'm physically lucky that I have the dimensions of an arachnid, that I can do things that others can't.
Though missing a few digits.
It's really interesting. It's really interesting what you say. I mean, it's fascinating to talk about insecurities of performers, but I know for a fact that you, with UMI, have supported Rolling Stones and The Who. What's it like, therefore, when you see those guys performing? They're well into their 60s.
Yes.
They've survived,
remarkably.
Remarkably. Do you ever consider, when you're watching guys like that, Pete Townsend, Keith Richards, do you ever consider, wow, perhaps I could do this into my 60s, my 70s even? Do you ever think of that?
Yeah, sure, I think about it, because I love playing, and I've often said that I'd be more than happy playing in a Creedence Clearwater Revival cover band when I'm 60. I mean, as far as writing my own music, and if that's a possibility, because, I mean, playing original music in this country or any country is kind of difficult. You're kicking against the pricks, and it's definitely the best job I've ever had, but you feel that encroaching upon you. And with this theatre opportunity coming up, it's definitely not like, oh, I need something, another rock to jump to further the fulfilment of my ego. It's just a job comes up like I would take any other job. If someone needs their car washed, I'd do that. But like I said before, that physically I'm able to do things in a different way and get a bit of attention. I've got large dimensions, and so I'd love to keep doing it when I'm 60 or 70 if, Lord, the great architect willing, we make it that way. And while we're on to that, Maureen Rogers, my mum, happy birthday, darling.
Good on you, Tim.
Oh, what a
on that
beautiful
note,
way to
unfortunately,
finish it.
we're out of time. It's been a delight to meet you. Hope to see you again.
It's been more of a delight for me.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this.